Okay. So thank you everyone for joining me. Whether you're watching this right now live from the outside or whether you are watching this later on YouTube, this is this is another opportunity for us to just be together in our shared purpose, which is awakening and forgiveness, and really. The title of this talk was Bringing Illusions to the Truth. And this is a topic that I just feel is so profound when it's really understood. And so I was inspired the other day to create this event and have this topic be the focal point for it. And also have some songs. I'm going to play a song or two or maybe three on my guitar, and we're just going to basically see what comes in. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions, even those of you who are on the outside who are watching this. There should be a little Q&A, a little button on the video screen where you can click, and then it'll take you to a page where you can actually type in questions, and I can respond to them live. But I think what I'll do is I'll start off with a song. And actually, first, I just want to introduce my friends who are in the room. So I just thought I'd have each of you who are here in the room with me just say a quick hello and say your name. And so why don't we start with you, Dan? You can just unmute yourself and just say a quick hello. And if you want to say a couple words about why you're here, then you can do that as well.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I had joined with Erik previously on a couple of Unwind Your Mind events, and I found them inspirational, and I'm enjoying joining with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dawn.
I'm Dawn. I'm here because the strength that comes when you hang out with mighty companions. I have a strong desire to awaken, to leave all that isn't the real me behind. And I love the support. You know, every time I join in one of these, it helps bring clarity, and that's what I'm looking for.
Thank you. And Louisa, I don't know if you can unmute yourself there for us and say a couple words.
I did. Oh, here I am.
Yeah.
Well, what can I say except how grateful that I am. The experience on the retreat has made such a miraculous difference in my life in so many ways. And you know, I was going through some things while I was there, and I was thinking, oh, I can never come along and have this, but it's just been wonderful. And then I worried that perhaps the feeling wouldn't last. I'm just great, better than I have since I can remember, since I've been. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that was fun. We had a retreat here I'm here at the Peace House right now. This is the original community house that was purchased by David Hoffmeister back in 1996, and it's been well used, and it's kind of been vacant for the past few years, or not used very much, and it's just recently that we started to have some things happening here, and I have 2 more retreats coming up, one at the end of this month, June 26th through the 28th, called Let Go and Let God, and then another retreat 2 weeks later in July 10th through the 12th, called Clarity of the Heart. And so, yeah, it's just been beautiful for me to share these messages and share these teachings that I've received from David and from the Course. I feel like the Course was like the first step, like really getting deeply into the metaphysical understanding of these teachings. And then David really really kind of brought home the idea that you need to apply the teachings and be willing to apply them all the time to everything in order to come to a consistent experience of peace. And he's just been one that seems so peaceful, consistently, and with a sense of joy, just a bubbling joy for life, that yeah, he's just been an incredible role model for me. So I'm really grateful to be teaching what I've learned from him. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with a song, and this song is actually, it's a song by another musician who is another Course in Miracles musician named Donna Marie Carey. Those of you who've been into the Course for a while may have heard of Donna Marie Carey. She is, she's been around for a while, and she was actually one of the artists who first traveled with David years ago, I think in the 90s, when David would go out on these spontaneous road trips. Donna Marie accompanied him on some of them, I believe, and she's written some amazing songs. Just, I mean, not just beautiful lyrics based on the Course, but I mean, she's an incredible singer-songwriter, and I've just, I still listen to her music on my iPhone, a lot. And one of her songs I was inspired to learn. I probably will learn more, but this one is one of my favorites, and it's called Back to Love. And it fits in with our theme because it's all about giving the people the people that we have projected in our lives. Everyone who seems to be in our lives is really a projection of our own mind. And it's about giving those symbols, those people, back to love, which is one way of saying bringing illusions to the truth. Instead of blaming these people, which would be to try to make the illusions real and claim that these illusions, these people, are the cause of our upsets. We need to practice giving these symbols to love, saying, here, Holy Spirit, you take these people in my life, and which are these symbols in my mind, really, and you show me what's really happening here, and show me that beyond these tiny little fragmented symbols that I've projected is nothing but love, and that's the purpose of life. And so this song is a beautiful love song about giving you back to love, giving people back to love. So I'm just going to switch to studio mode here. This makes the guitar sound a little bit better. Here we go. Totally blanked on the lyrics. The first lyric. I'll just skip to one of the lyrics I do remember. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I just remembered. My idea of what I think you are cannot compare to what you really are. You're much more than I could ever dream you to be. I can't lock your image in time, try to change you or make you mine. Give you to love what you were meant when I give you to love. I give love to me. You have nothing that I need. I have it all when I believe. When I give you to love, I'm giving love to me. Right or wrong, I cannot judge you. Expect too little or too much from you. Making you guilty would only condemn myself. So now the greatest gift I can give is to give you back to love. Back to what you were meant to be. When I give you to love, I give love to me. Hurt me, cause me pain. It's my choice, and I can choose again. To see only love, see only innocence. Now the greatest gift I can give is to give you back to love. Back to what you were meant to be. When I give you to love, when I give you to love, when I give you to love, I give love to me. So yeah, that's our theme tonight. Is give you back to love. It's the same thing as saying bring illusions to the truth. And not holding on to the illusions, not trying to use the illusions to justify my feelings, good or bad. Because even when we think, oh, you make me feel good, which the world would say that's a beautiful thought or a beautiful compliment to give someone. You make me feel good. It's really still another form of doing the opposite, of bringing truth to the illusions. And so I remember hearing David one time say that, if you want to give a really unpopular seminar, just call it healing the good, or healing the pleasure, because most teachings on this planet, they say, well, you want to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, but really you can't just lop off one end of the spectrum. They go together. They're just two sides of the same coin. And in order to have real peace of mind, a true experience of peace and consistent joy, it's absolutely necessary to give all the illusions to the truth, including the illusions that seem to be good ones, the things that we think we like. There's another line in the Course that says that I don't know if I'll quote it accurately, but it's basically that the illusions you think you like can hold you back just as much as those in which the fear is present. And so, yeah, we just want to be honest with ourselves, and really it's just so empowering. It's so beautifully empowering when we begin to recognize that everything is coming from our own mind. Every experience we're having, that everything that we perceive is coming from our own mind, and we're always projecting out exactly what we've chosen to perceive, and we've always chosen to perceive it in order to either be a witness to us for our victimhood, or as a witness to our Christhood. And so when we seem to draw forth people who remind us of the truth, and who seem to be reflections of the truth for us, then that's helpful. But we still want to remember that it's coming from our own mind. That this is how we can avoid getting caught in like a guru trap, like thinking that somebody out there is the cause of our awakening, or that we need a special teacher, or even a special book like A Course in Miracles. It's all coming. It's all a projection, and it's all coming from our own mind, either to keep us enslaved, or from the part of our mind that is choosing to awaken. So it's just so empowering to see that we're never ever at the mercy of anything outside of us, nor are we ever receiving something positive from something outside of us. It's all within us. The kingdom of heaven is within, or rather, we are the kingdom of heaven. And yet there's a belief system that seems very active and very powerful in our mind, called the ego, and this ego just is, it's just crazy. It's just constantly, it really is a tiny mad idea, and it's very active. It's no wonder that for centuries and centuries, and even still today, there are millions or billions of people who believe in the devil, that the devil is like a real entity that runs amok in this world, and is trying to deceive people. But we could really say that the ego is the devil, and as long as we believe in the ego, then there might as well be a real devil out there that's trying to deceive us. We might as well, when Christians talk about the devil to me, I agree with them. I say, yeah, there's definitely a force in the mind, I probably wouldn't try to convince them that it's just in the mind, but there is a force that seems like it's outside of us that is very deceptive, and it's very seductive. It's very good at tricking us, but only because we want to be tricked. As long as we want to be tricked, we will be tricked. It's never something that we're really at the mercy of. There's a song that I started to write. I haven't finished it, but it was a funny song that I started writing a few years ago, and it was called, I think it was called "The Cosmic Joke," and it was something like, it was just a cosmic joke that I played on myself and took way too seriously, and that was like the chorus line. But it was just, yeah, it was a funny way of reminding myself that everything that seems to go on in this world that trips me up is just a cosmic joke that I'm playing on myself, and it's never coming from anyone else. There isn't anybody else. There isn't really anyone out there. There's one mind, and then there's this illusion of 7 billion people on the planet, but it's all a projection. All the people are just projections of the one mind. So this is where we can really just start to take a look at this idea of bringing illusions to the truth, and how we can apply it on a very practical level, because that's the only way that it's going to be meaningful to us. We can't just kind of theorize about it and talk about the metaphysics. We have to actually apply it, and that's what all of us want to do. We don't want to just talk about these ideas. We want to really use them and see that they have value. That's what Jesus says at the beginning of the workbook. In the introduction to the workbook, he basically says that you may actively resist these ideas, but just go ahead and just try them. Just be willing to practice them, and you will see that they are true by their effectiveness, by their fruits. You will see that they work, even if you don't believe them in the beginning. Just by practicing them, you'll see that they work. And this idea came to me recently. I was earlier today when I was thinking about this talk that I'd be giving tonight. I thought about Byron Katie, and it's funny that you, Don, you just sent me a lot of things from your journal that you had written where you were using the Byron Katie technique, which is basically just questioning: is it true about an idea, about a thought, about any belief that we are confronted with? We can just ask ourselves, is it true? And it's so helpful. This is another way of understanding the Course's principle of bringing illusions to the truth. It's basically being willing to look at the illusions and bring them to the truth by questioning them and saying, is this true? Is this something that I need to keep believing in? And if it's bothering me, if there's something that's actually upsetting me in my daily life, then I must be believing in something that's not true. And so that's where we want to start. We just always want to start with wherever we are, wherever we're feeling a trigger or an upset about anyone or anything. We can be willing to, instead of continuously getting angry and trying to solve the problem on the level of the problem, which is what most people are trying to do in this world, we can bring it to a higher level. We can bring it to the level of truth, and bring it to the Holy Spirit in our mind and say, help me look at this. Is this true? Is this really true? And I'm willing to see that it's not. In fact, we have a whole worksheet similar to what Byron Katie has done with her worksheets. David made up a worksheet with a few more steps to it years ago. It's called The Instrument for Peace. and you can actually find it on some of his websites and download it for free. But it's like a 12-step process where you can take anything that you're struggling with, any practical issue that you're struggling with, whether it's finances or a relationship or your health or a fear about the future or something from your past, and you go through these 12 steps, and it's basically designed to take you from where you are, which is fully identifying with the problem and thinking it's real, to coming to a place where you recognize that it isn't, that it really is purely an invention of the ego mind, and that it really is just a matter of having a shift in perception, and that's such great news, that in truth there really is never a problem. Problems are always either remembered or anticipated, but they're never really just now. The only way you can have a problem is if you're thinking about the past or the future. And when I say there's never a problem just now, it's really that there's no problem in the true experience of now, which isn't really between the past and the future, because you can still kind of perceive that as a problem, like I'm stuck between the past and the future is yet to come, and I'm kind of stuck in between. But in A Course in Miracles, Jesus talks about the present moment as being before time was. This is like the real present moment, that we could say the holy instant, the moment prior to time, or we could say prior to the belief in time. And this is where this worksheet I'm talking about takes you back into. It's called the Instrument for Peace, and if you want to search for it, I think if you go to awakening-mind.org, that's one of David's websites, awakening-mind.org, and then there's a column for resource, or a tab for resources, and I think there you can find it, and it's very, very helpful. It's very similar to Byron Katie's worksheet. But that's what we're here for, is to actually apply these ideas and just start with wherever we are and whatever is happening in the mind, and just be willing to have a shift, have a truly profound shift in our mind, so that we can see with what the Course calls vision. We can actually look beyond the error and see the truth. And then it's amazing how things shift. I mean, the reason it's called the Course in Miracles is because when we have these shifts in perception, it really does change everything in the seeming dream. It rearranges time and space. The world doesn't actually operate based on the normal laws of the world that we have all come to buy into. The laws that the laws of physics, and all the laws of nature, so to speak, that we've accepted as just being facts and beyond question. It really is a dream, and so a dream doesn't operate by any laws other than the laws that are given to it by the dreamer. So when we have a shift in perception, which is really what the miracle is, then there's usually some kind of reflection of what we would call physical miracles. Like Don was talking about, we're getting into a car accident and then having all these people show up to help, and being able to walk away from it without a scratch, or maybe a couple scratches, but something that seems like there was a slim chance that would have happened. Things that we would call miracles in the world are all reflections of a shift in our consciousness, of a willingness to be wrong about everything, and to just fully let go of our normal everyday thinking, and be willing to hear the voice of the Holy Spirit tell us what to think. So I actually just want to open it up now and see if anyone has anything that they feel to talk about, any topics. and also for those of you who are watching on the outside, you can type in things. Like I said, there should be a little button or a way to type in questions. And so, yeah, if there's anything that feels helpful to expose, and it's kind of like something on your heart, and it, really for the purpose of healing. So if there's anything that's been troubling you, those are usually the things that are most helpful to bring to a group like this, because everyone has the same problems. This is kind of like an encounter group or an AA group where, it's so healing because one person's problem is everyone's problem. And when you're actually willing to expose one of your issues or something that you're having some emotion around, it can just be so profound. I watched a movie not long ago for the second time. It's a movie I've seen 2 or 3 times now that is I highly recommend it. It's called Thanks for Sharing, and it's about one of these groups, kind of like AA, except it's basically sexaholics. I don't know if they call it that, but it's a group of people that were addicted to pornography or sex or masturbation. They're just there's a lot of sexual drive, and it actually is ruining their life. So they go to these meetings, and yeah, there's some really beautiful scenes, but there's a scene where one of the main characters just finally kind of falls to his knees. He gets fired from his job as a doctor, and he comes to the group the next day and tells everybody what he did. He was filming with his iPhone underneath his boss's skirt at work, and the boss caught him, and she fired him, and then he just exposes it at the meeting, and he just really comes clean and says that he's just a mess, and he's out of control, and it's just so powerful, these moments of transparency. That's really what we're all here for, is to be transparent, to be willing to just let the Spirit guide us and to speak through us and to share whatever will be helpful for the whole. So yeah, I'm just going to turn it over to anyone if you feel to share.
I have a quick question. Can you hear
Yeah.
me okay?
Uh-huh.
You were talking about everyone's outside of you and you don't need anyone on your outside of you for happiness or anything like that. Okay, so the question that I have is about clarity and bridging the gap between what you said and the actual lesson in Course in Miracles for today, where it talks about seeing your one brother, if you can see one brother as um, your savior, pretty much, and then that like one brother kind of represents it all. And it also, the actual lesson is about asking your brother, your holy brother, to bless you. So it's almost, in my mind, I'm trying to find some way to bridge what you said and also what the lesson is for today. Uh-oh, I think it's messing up. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so my question is, it seems as if in the lesson for today that you're actually asking, you're needing this brother to bless you. You see how that almost seems like you're needing something outside of you, not really outside of you, but your brother to bless you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like it's almost contradictory to what you said.
Yeah.
So it's like not, if for some strange reason it's not really matching up in my mind. It's like Byron Katie talks about, don't jump your evolution, meaning some of the concepts that the Living Miracles or you or even Course at certain times says, it's like I'm not there yet. Like I
Mm.
want to be where you're at, but I'm not, and
Mm.
so I have to take my baby steps, you know, to get
Yeah.
there. And I feel like there could be other like people, maybe they're new and they're new to the course or new to this whole thing, and you run across a lesson like today, and it's like your brothers, you're supposed to you're asking, brother, bless me.
Mm.
If you could speak on that, maybe Holy Spirit can, speak through you on that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, whenever the Course, if there are any references to basically asking a brother to bless you, it would always be in a symbolic sense of asking the true self that your brother is, who is the Christ. And it doesn't actually mean that that the person, because your brother isn't really the person. I mean, that's how we typically think of it, but really the true brother, the one that we're actually related to, we could say, is the spirit, because we're not really related, we're not really brothers on the level of form with anyone. That's kind of a starting point. It's a metaphor that we can use, that everyone is our brother or sister. But in truth, who we all are is the Christ. And any other identification, any other way of identifying somebody other than that would have to be an illusion. It would have to be something other than the Christ, because there isn't like the Christ and then kind of half. There isn't like any stepping stones like into the world. There's really just illusion, and then there's truth. So you're either thinking of your brother as an illusion, or you're thinking of your brother as the truth. So when we see our brother, and we believe that there's actually a relationship happening horizontally, which is where all of us start. That's the human experience. We believe that there are these real people outside of us, and that we're trying to somehow relate with them. The Course is saying that there's another way of seeing your brother which will bless you. That when you see your brother with the eyes of the Spirit, you will be blessed. You'll be blessed by who your brother actually is. And when you ask your brother to bless you, not necessarily verbally, but like as a prayer in your heart, that you're saying, that you're asking a part of yourself. You're asking, actually it is yourself. You're saying, bless me, Christ. It's sort of like saying, it's another way of praying to Jesus even. We could say that if you want to be blessed by everyone, then be willing to see everyone as Jesus, which is still just a metaphor and a stepping stone. But we could open our heart to the idea that everyone is the same as Jesus, which is true. Everyone is the Christ, and everyone is the Christ now, whether they seem to be aware of it or not. And even if they seem to be yelling and screaming and attacking us, they are still the Christ. And so I think what that idea is that you're referring to is really just a way of praying. It's just another way of praying to your brother in truth, and praying to who they truly are. I remember hearing a story about Jenny, who I know you know. Jenny is one of the messengers of peace, and when she was guided years and years ago to leave her old life, she was living in Sweden, and she had a child and her parents there, and she was actually guided to fly to the United States and begin to just really dive deeply into her spiritual path. She felt like everyone there was against her, including and especially her parents, and all she was seeing was them angry at her, and she was just trying to deal with this feeling of being made wrong by them. And then she must have on some level prayed that prayer, like, please bless me, to them, not verbally but in her heart, just praying that prayer. And then she had a dream one night, and in her dream her parents came to her, but it wasn't it wasn't as they had been. They came to her as their higher self, they were like angels. They showed up in her dream like as if they were angels, and it was the true self of her parents that came to her, although it seemed to look the same. It looked like her parents, and they came to her and they basically said, we know what you're doing with your life, and we bless you. We know that this is actually for your highest good and for everyone's highest good, what you're doing here, even though it looks like very radical, and the world would say that this is irresponsible what you're doing by leaving your home and leaving this whole life behind you. They basically just said, we give you our blessing. And she woke up from that dream just feeling a sense of profound peace and clarity and certainty, knowing that she was actually taking the step that was in the highest good for everyone. So I think that's what this means, is just being willing to pray in your heart for your brother, for the true self of your brother, for the blessing from him. So that's what I would say to that. And it's just very, very deep, because it's taking us into an experience that our brother is ourself. But we first need to learn to pray truly, to pray to our brother in the true sense, to pray to the Christ. And it's really, it's just another way of praying for vision, praying to the Holy Spirit to show me my brother, to show me who my brother really is. So thank you for that question.
I had an experience over the last couple of days where I found that my living situation, which has been pretty stable for the last 34 years or so, is possibly going to change, and that I caretake a property, and that the people who own it are thinking of possibly renting out this place, or changing the way there's a guest house. And what was really surprising to me was how strongly I could feel I was resisting the idea of that change, that I felt threatened. I felt that maybe I'd have to move. I'd have to find some other location, which is it would seem like a huge change to me, because I've been in this place for a long time and it's just idyllic. It's on a creek. It's really beautiful, and it seems to be like a manifestation of part of who I am. And so it's kind of shaken me, and I realized, really, I just had to turn that over, and I did hear that question come to mind: "Don't you trust me?" As if Jesus would ask for a change that wasn't beneficial. And when I thought about it, it was like, I actually do. And it was after that I felt this, pretty good, a pretty strong sense of relief and letting go of the issue. It still, wants to, prod me, but it's one where I just had to kind of release it. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I do know that in the past I've learned to trust that whenever there are changes asked, they always come out to be wonderful. So yeah, that was a trust issue for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge That's such a huge thing that we seem to have to keep um, going deeper into this present moment experience where it can appear like the outside world that we've relied upon, like for support and for security, is changing or falling away. And that's actually so important each time that seems to be happening in our lives, where a change is occurring, and it just feels like we can't do anything about it. Where as much as we struggle and resist and try to keep things to stay the same, it's like it's not working. It's always, yeah, it's always such a huge gift that we may not see until the dust is settled. And it's so deep. It's actually necessary for us to wake up. Before we can wake up, we have to see that nothing in this world is actually valuable. And the only way the Spirit can show us that and convince us of that is by gently guiding us to let go of each illusion that we've protected and valued, and show us that it's not actually necessary. It's not necessary for our peace of mind, and it's not even necessary for our survival, even on this level. Because we're actually not on this level, but as long as we believe we are, then the Spirit will just take us step by step by step, ultimately to the point where Jesus was, where he said, "The Son of Man has no place to lay his head." He didn't have he didn't even have like a base, really. I think that he and the apostles, they would set up bases, when they traveled, and but he was pretty much on the move for 3 years, and kind of like David was in the early 90s, just going where the Spirit would have him go, without any kind of knowing where the body would be laid down to sleep each night. And yeah, that's a high level of mind training, and it can only be achieved through these intermediary steps, where, just like in the development of trust section in the teacher's manual, he says that it will seem as if things are being taken away, but this is only so that their valuelessness can be seen. So yeah, I join you in that trust. I join you in that. Because it's such a shaky feeling, even when we seem to have everything, even when we seem to have all our ducks in a row, and we think that our life is stable and secure, and we have a kind of I guess a relative feeling of peace and security. It's really just a covering that is hiding a lot of fear underneath it. That what if everything were to disappear? What if everything as I have known it has been a prison, actually, that like a comfortable prison, a prison that I seemed to just accept and take for granted, instead of being willing to exchange it for my true inheritance as a son of God. So that's the kind of the context for all of this, and I think those who are called to really take the course all the way, everyone I've met in our community with Living Miracles, and those who seem drawn to Living Miracles and to David, they are they're all going through like a metamorphosis, kind of like the caterpillar into the butterfly, where I don't think I've ever even seen what it looks like, but I've been told that when a caterpillar is going through the metamorphosis, it looks pretty messed up. It looks pretty ugly. Like the whole transformation looks like crazy. Like what the hell is going on? The cocoon, and then the cocoon like falling away, and eventually you just have this beautiful butterfly. But the process looks like something's going wrong. And that's how the ego always will judge the awakening. Something's going wrong. we need to stop this somehow. But it's just like trying to stop ourselves from going down a water slide by digging our fingernails into the side. It's not it's not going to be helpful, and it's going to be actually really painful. I have a little cut on my head here from the other day, just from being in that state of mind for a short period of time. I was just rushing. For some reason, I was just kind of trying to get something done, and instead of valuing peace of mind above all else, I thought that it was more important for me to get some of these chores done in the house, and so I bent down in a rush, and I wasn't paying attention, and I hit my head on the wall, and that's what seems to happen when we choose anything other than peace of mind as our goal in the moment. Then that's where the pain and the reflections of pain come from. They always come from a decision to think that what's happening in the world, or what will happen, is actually more important than present peace. So I think I'll play another song now that kind of goes along with this idea of just relaxing and trusting. And this is one I know that those of you here in the room with me have heard. It's Let Life Unfold. Sometimes it's like the sun is shining and I can feel it all day, and other times it seems no matter how I try, nothing's gonna go my way. And I don't know why things go the way they go anyway, but that's okay. 'Cause something tells me life can offer only love, endless and free. If I'm afraid, ashamed and suffering, it's only 'cause I'm thinking about me. I look in the mirror and I know it's self-deception to believe that I am the image I see. 'Cause I feel the river inside. Keep on trying to hold on to the branches on the side, but when I let go, deep down I know everything will be alright if I just go with the flow and let life unfold. A simple piece of wisdom I was once told. It means giving up the illusion that I am in control. Well, I can let go can let go and let life unfold. Well, you can take me anywhere, I've got nothing to lose. And even if it seems my life is on the line, I'll know it's only just a ruse. I won't be fooled anymore, because there's nothing that I want more than to feel the river inside. I keep on trying to hold on to the branches on the side, but when I let go, deep down I know everything will be alright if I just go with the flow and let life unfold. A simple piece of wisdom I was once told. It means giving up the illusion that I am in control. Well, I can let go, and you can let go, and let life unfold. We're floating on a river going home. No need, no need, no need to control. Well, I can let go, we can let go and let life unfold. Yeah, I thought of another topic that I'm gonna do another Google Hangout for on Saturday night, or Saturday at the same time as this, called Discovering the Stillness Within. And yeah, I love that feeling that I feel whenever I just really drop into this freedom from thought, this freedom from thinking that anything should, or even could be different than as it is. Just let life unfold. There's really no need to control. It's not even that we shouldn't control, it's that we can't. We don't have any, we never had control. We had an illusion of control. And it was a very powerful and very persistent illusion. But an illusion of control, that's all it ever was. And the stillness that is underneath that belief in control is it's everything. It's everything we have ever wanted. Anytime we've ever wanted anything in this world, it's always been just something that we've projected the stillness onto, thinking that if I can get that thing, get that person, or get that security or the health or whatever, then I can relax. Then I can have the stillness. It's always projecting the stillness into the future and thinking that it can come in the future, but it can't ever. It'll never come in the future. It'll only come. That would be another attempt to put the truth into the illusion. But when I'm talking about bringing illusions to the truth, it's really bringing the idea of the future back inward to the truth in my mind, and where it dissolves, where it's seen as a fictional idea that has just no substance, no meaning. And so this stillness is what our whole life is aimed at, and it has always been aimed at. It's always, even when we have been thinking that we could attain the stillness through other goals, even before we read A Course in Miracles or had any awareness of spirituality, the stillness I'm talking about is what we were always searching for. We were always, from the moment we've seemed to believe in the separation, from the moment of this tiny mad idea and the belief that we actually could have pulled off the impossible, there has been no other desire but to return to that stillness. And the ego was just the thought that the only way we could do that would be by projecting it into the future and then trying to attain it. Because the ego is basically the belief that we have like destroyed God. The belief that God no longer lives, and that only this self and this world that we've invented is real. So the ego is the belief that everything is the opposite of how it actually is, which is that this world is not real and this self was never real, and that God has always been real and always will be. So it's to be expected that our world, the life that we seem to live as a human being in this world, it needs to go through this metamorphosis. It needs to go through a complete 180. It has to go through a total 180. As long as there's any sense of depending on other people or things in this world for being a certain way, Spirit has to find a way to loosen our grip on that. And again, like I was saying a few minutes ago before the song, it will seem like it's a bad thing happening. It'll seem like the world is falling. The world as we've known it is falling apart. There's a quote from Muji that somebody posted on Facebook recently on a beautiful picture. They put a little quote on top of a picture, and I just thought it was so beautiful. It was basically saying, I think the quote was, "You are a present that is being unwrapped by God. Don't identify with the paper." Something like that. It was the paper is what's being pulled away, and it seemed to be what protected you and kept you hidden, but you are the present. You are the gift. So that's what this is for.
It really does seem like a change is occurring, and I know that when David had come to Sedona to speak, and I met him and Lisa and a few other people, Jason. There was an invitation, to come and join, and I felt like I couldn't do that at the time. So what I did ask for, though, was if I could be, in what way could I be truly helpful? And then, without necessarily changing all of my circumstances, I'm married and so forth. And so I just said, if I can be of assistance, then I'm actually asking for a miracle. In whatever circumstances I feel right now I have to be involved in, or I'm comfortable in being involved in, and so that actually has been incredibly wonderful. It actually is unfolding, and I feel like there is great movement occurring, and it's done it in a way that's been very gentle and accommodating in a lot of ways, and yet still a change, still definitely a change. So yeah, I'm a happy guy.
That's great. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know, I love that, how it's always so perfect, and it's so perfect for everyone that it always unfolds at a rate that is perfect for us, for each of us. And it always, it seems like, for me, it seemed to kind of be very gentle, very gradual, just like little changes here and there, and then it seemed to start to speed up, but only at the rate at which I was ready for. And feels like it's that way for everyone. I think there are moments when there are maybe what feels like big leaps of faith, like big changes that occur, that we're asked to just go with the flow and trust that it's going to be okay. But those only come when we're ready for them. And yeah, we don't have to even. That's another trap I think that a lot of course students can get into, is kind of comparing themselves to others and where others are on the journey just by appearances, because nobody really knows where anyone is on the journey. You can't really look at anyone and kind of come up with some kind of hierarchy of advancement, and who's above and who's below, and all of that is just another form of judgment, really. So all we can do is just again bring the illusions to the truth in our mind. Be willing to question everything, and just trust that the Holy Spirit has our back. That we're going to be taken care of. That the awakening is underway, and it's inevitable. And it really is kind of like going, like in my song, like floating down a river, and there isn't really anything to do except to stop grabbing the branches on the side. That's really the only thing that we have to do, is to stop grabbing the branches on the side, and recognize when we are grabbing the branches, and then just release. It's releasing. That's all there is to do, is release, and or if we use the water slide analogy, just notice when we're digging our fingernails in, which we will notice because it'll be painful, and just release, and just keep even though it, and we'll always feel a rush of fear. Like, it's kind of like if we stay with that analogy of the water slide, if we're going down and it's like, oh my God, pretty soon I'm gonna crash into this big body of water at the bottom of this water slide, and that freaks me out. I better stop myself. And so we grab the side, and then we try to stay there. We try to just hold on as tightly as we can, and just stay right in that spot without moving, and until eventually the pain, it's getting so painful, like our arm is getting so tired from holding on for so long and trying to maintain that position, that we let go. And there's always a feeling of fear with that. It's all like the ego is going to react whenever we let go, but then we just can kind of relax again, and it's a trust walk, and it feels so good when we're just fully, like, we don't even have to look at the water slide and try to navigate our way down it. We can just close our eyes and just listen to the Spirit reminding us of how perfect everything is, and that we don't have to worry, we don't have to plan, we don't have to, we're not in charge of our own awakening. It's already been planned for us. Everything that we will seem to go through in the awakening is actually already in the script. It's already been written. It's already over, actually. but like it says in the Course, it's as if you're watching a journey that you've already completed, and you're just reviewing it. You're just watching it again, like watching a movie, because it would have been too frightening to just wake up all at once. So it seems like a movie, like a gradual movie that we get to just watch. I don't have any other topics coming to my mind, but if another song comes, I'm just open to anything right now. Yeah, I don't have any songs coming either right now. So. Well, I did just have a song come to mind that feels like it'd be fun to play. This is a Cat Stevens song. Who, yeah, he's one of my favorite people. Out of all the illusions, he's one of my favorites. Even though ultimately I will see that they're all the same, but for now he's one that he's someone who I think really demonstrated this. this awakening. For those of you who were fans of Cat Stevens back in the day, and then he went through that phase where he basically just said, I've had enough of this whole music business thing, and I quit. And he just quit the music industry and decided to devote his life to his spiritual path, which was really very, very heart-centered, and kind of I would see it as, yeah, just a very kind of mystic version of Islam. And then he changed his name even to Yusuf Islam. And yeah, just beautiful. I watched a documentary on him a while back, and so touching. And now he's back with music, but it's very devotional music, and it's still incredibly beautiful. But this is a song that he wrote back when he was still going by the name Cat Stevens, and it's a song called "The Wind." It's a really beautiful song. I have to change the studio mode. Oh, there it is again. I lost the lyrics. Okay, let me try that again. I listen to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, well, I think only God really knows. I've sat upon the setting sun, but never, I never wanted water once. No, never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let my music take me where my heart wants to go. I've swam upon the devil's lake, but never, I'll never make the same mistake. No, never. I listen to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, well, I think only God really knows. I've sat upon the setting sun, but never, I never wanted water once. No, never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let my music take me where my heart wants to go. I've swam upon the devil's lake, but never, I'll never make the same mistake. No, never. Hmm. Well, unless anyone has any final thoughts or questions or something to share, feels like we might be complete. So, yeah, I'll be doing another one of these on Saturday evening at the same time, called Discovering the Stillness Within, and I'll post that on the same website of mine, which is acimmusic.org. And yeah, and like I said at the beginning, I have a couple of retreats here, and weekend retreats here in Cincinnati coming up at the end of the month, and then in mid-July. So if any of you watching this are interested in just really coming to just dive into this experience with me for a whole weekend, then just yeah, all the registration information is on the website. So thank you, Dan and Dawn and Louisa, for being here, and for all of you who are watching on the outside. Lots of love to you.
Thank you. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.